like I said, the problem that you are likely experiencing right now, and the problem that I used to experience in terms of programming bass lines and understanding how to put together a bass line with the beat that I'd already made and advance it a little bit further, was that I didn't really understand, I guess, the technique in order to figure out something that sounded good, all right? It's a lot easier, to be honest, since I have gotten a MIDI keyboard for me to program bass lines. Not only that, but it's a lot easier since I've gotten Arturia V-Synth. Obviously, I don't get paid by Arturia to say that, but it's just got an awesome collection of inspiring bass sounds. And before, I was relying upon stock libraries in the machine, and it really didn't have the tone and the character that I really liked that sounded interesting. So a lot of times I made beats that didn't really have bass lines that sounded the way that I wanted to. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you ways in which I program bass lines and ways in which you can figure out how to program your own bass lines in a way that's in tune and in key with the rest of your beat, so that everything sounds cohesive and the harmonies and the melodies don't clash with each other. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to show you what I'm working with right now. Just working with the simple drum and a pad, a drum groove and a pad. So what I'm going to do is show you the process of how I figure out the notes in which I can play on my bass line to pick something that sounds good, to pick the notes that sound good, and how I experiment with that in order to come up with a pretty cool sounding bass line. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do right now is jump into the pad. I'm going to sort of play this to allow you to show you, I guess, what's going on. And I'm going to jump into this pad right here and then sort of figure out what notes are being played and then use those. All right, so let's see what's going on in this pad sound right now. All right, so I see basically by this, I don't even know what you call it. I guess it's like the keylog or something like that. On machine, you can basically see what MIDI notes are being played. And I can sort of pick out what MIDI notes are being played. And I'm looking on my keyboard to see which notes those are. So I found the notes. They're those four notes. So very simple. So what I'm going to do is jump on over to the bass preset that I've just loaded up. And play those exact same notes. And it's that simple, all right? You don't have to make it more difficult than it really is. Figure out the notes that are in the rest of the beat, in the melody or the harmony, and play those notes on your bass and sort of experiment with those notes. So I can transpose those down one octave. So I was playing this. Now I can play this. All right, so it's more of a bass line. All right, it's not exactly as fat as a bass line, but it'll cut through the mix. And so basically what I'm going to do is just play this for you and let you see what it sounds like. So that bass tone is pretty interesting. I know what notes I have to work with. I'm going to jump into this Mini V synthesizer in Arturia, which has some really sexy lead sounds and some bass sounds. I'm going to go ahead and flip through some presets. And sort of find a preset that meshes well with what I have already. And it makes it a lot more simple. So I'm going to loop this and then sort of jump through the presets and play those notes that I know I can play. And sort of find a preset that matches well with what I have already. as you can hear, so that's basically it in terms of figuring out bass lines. Just to recap the process that I outlined for you, I started off with a pad and a drum groove, right? So what I did was just jump into the, I guess this key log. I don't even know what the hell you call it, but it just basically shows you the MIDI information for what keys are being played. So basically I jumped in here, figured out the keys by experimenting and figuring out which keys are being pressed. And then I jumped on over to my MIDI controller and found those keys. And then I jumped on over to whatever bass patch that I had loaded in and played those exact keys, transposed them down one notch to get more in a bass tone, and then played everything over in a loop and experimented with those notes that I got from the pad and sort of figured out a cool bass line. It is that simple, right? It makes it a lot easier, guys. Trust me, if you have a MIDI keyboard controller. I held out for so long, and I really wish I did not, because I know I preached about that in the past of just using a machine. I really wish I bought a MIDI controller sooner, and I really wish I got a library of VSTs like this, because it's really sort of changed the way that I make music and the way that I think about music, sort of giving me a lot more control over what I'm doing musically, in order for me to sort of go in the direction of how I'm feeling every single time I make a beat. You know, I can sort of really evoke the emotion that I'm feeling and the harmony and the melody and the energy of the drums, and I have a lot more control over the music that I'm making. So it makes it a lot easier to do things this way. So utilize this really simple technique of finding the notes throughout the rest of your music and using them in a bass line that you're about to create, all right? So if you're still using samples, you can do the same exact process as well. Only obviously you're not going to have the MIDI roll to show you what piano notes are being inserted inside of whatever melody. But you can use your keyboard controller and sort of like test out the song by ear. You know, I have a pretty good idea of pitch, so I can generally hear whether a note is off as compared to whatever notes are being played inside of a sample, right? So you might not know exactly what key it's in or what notes you can and can't play, but if you start in an octave of the piano, start at C or whatever, and then move around up to one octave, and you can sort of figure out which 5 notes that you have to choose from, and then sort of play a bass line that way. So this is a really simple and effective technique. All right, so if you're interested in this type of stuff, obviously, you know, you've been watching this video for the last 10 minutes, you're obviously interested in understanding the more advanced techniques around music production that are going to sort of give you a creative edge and allow you to be more creative with your music and empower you to be able to create better and more professional sounding music. Like, for example, just this technique alone has really made the creation process in terms of making music so much more personal and more fun for me just within the last few months, and I'm sure it will do the same thing for you. If you're the type of person that enjoys these types of techniques, enjoys understanding and learning from a mentor who might be just a few steps ahead of you in terms of understanding machine and the production process so that you don't have to figure out all this stuff on your own, then I highly recommend that you sign up for Beat School, all right? There's a lot of great content that you can get inside of this program that is going to not only advance you in terms of your knowledge of music and music production, but it's going to advance your sound, all right? It's going to help you to create more professional sounding music. And specifically, I want to go over to this section about mixing on machine. This is so damn important. This is what I see a lot of producers missing out on. This entire section, as you can see, is laid out with, you know, probably a dozen videos that dive into the details of how to create professional quality beats using only the machine platform, all right? So utilizing machine stock effects inside of this section on on Beat School, I'm going to show you how to utilize your machine to take your beats right now that might be sounding amateurish. You know, they're not exactly fat and full and wide and, you know, powerful right now. I'm going to show you the techniques that you can utilize using only your machine to really create a sense of like lushness in your beats, to make your beats sound big, to make the kick drums really hit hard, and the drums to sound great and full and wide, and for you to sound just more professional. How do how to get yourself to the point where you can sound more like the music in which you listen to. All right, I'm going to teach you the science of audio engineering, but using the machine platform. That's what makes this course so unique. All right, it's going to give you those skills using the tools that you already own. You don't have to buy Pro Tools or some expensive plugins or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to do this all using the platform that you already own. All right, so if you're interested in this program, in this Beat School program, I recommend that you go ahead and grab it now because I've got a special deal going on. It's usually $50 a month. However, I'm running a special deal where you can get access to Beat School at $38.60 a month. I can lock you in at that price. All right, so all you have to do is click the link below in the description. You're going to land upon this page right here at hiphoprallybeatschool.com, where you can find out more information and read some testimonials and stuff. I'm also going to include a really great drum library, a machine expansion library that I've created. There's a whole bunch of great stuff in here. And you can basically sign up for Beat School here by clicking this big yellow button and entering your name and your payment information. And you'll be up and running with your username and password to this site, being able to access all this great information for you. And I'm constantly updating and putting great new stuff inside of here, all right? So I appreciate you investing your time with me. I'm really happy to welcome more people inside of Beat School, and I'm really happy to have more people inside of this YouTube community. So subscribe to continue to get great free tips and tricks just like this. If you want to go more advanced and want to get more detailed information, go ahead and join Beat School. And I will catch you a little bit later. All right? I appreciate you you hanging out with me. Go ahead and check out some more videos on my channel, and I'll see you in future videos. Peace.